Welcome সকলকে to today's program on acceptance. Before we start, we get into the practice of gratitude, gratefulness, and then we will be doing grounding practice. তারপরে we will get into the discussion. Sorry, I was speaking in Bengali, so we'll get into the discussion. So gratitude to the Mother Universe, Supreme Power, and to anyone and everyone we are grateful for, in folded hands, in silence, and with reverence. Thank you. We now ground ourselves by relaxing our mind and body.
সাউন্ড নেই পার্থদা, there's no sound.
Sound আছে এবারে?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So first a deep breath. In deep breathing, we can do a cyclical breathing.
একটু ভলিউমটা কমাও।
Okay, sure. ঠিক আছে? তো সাইক্লিক্যাল ব্রিদিংটা হচ্ছে how it happens is
খুব বেশি আসছে ইউটিউবের মিউজিকটা।
So cyclical breathing is like sobbing of a child. How does a child cry? A child cries like this, right? And then again he repeats. So what we will do is cyclical breathing is inhaling twice and exhaling once. Long exhalation. I will show it once again. Just give me a minute. So it's a sobbing kind of breathing. I will repeat, you can see it once again. So again I will repeat, you will inhale twice. So we do cyclical breathing 5 times. Guide yourself for that 5 times. Thank you. Now listen to the music. Do a hear out, micro hit. Just listen to the focus on the music. Concentrate on the music. Wonderful. Be aware of your entire body. Scan your body once. Start from your head, your forehead, your nostrils, lips, cheeks, throat, chest, hands, fingers, stomach, abdomen, hips, genitals, thigh, cuff muscles, ankles, heels, top of your feet, the sole of your feet, and your toes. Focus at the back of your shoulders, muscles around your spinal cord, top of your hips. While you do that, just notice if the breathing, the flow of breath, that has become slower. Wonderful. Relax your head, your forehead, your ears, cheeks, eyes. Relax your lips, both the lips, and let the relaxation flow to your chest and to your hands. Move your fingers a bit. Relax your abdomen, your waist. Generally, when we keep our spine straight, there is tension in the waist. Just relax your waist and see how good you feel. Relax your thighs, your knees, cuff muscles, ankles, heels, top of your feet, your toes. You can wiggle your toes a little to relax. And now do another deep breathing, cyclical breathing, with the exhalations being longer. Relax the back of your shoulders and let the relaxation flow to the top of your hips, relaxing the muscles around your spine. Now flow with the music. If your mind wanders, gently come back to the music. Scan your body once again to see if there is any sensation that you can feel in your body, any tension that you can feel in your body, any tightness that you can observe. Wonderful. music, be aware of the external environment. Om Shanti. So cyclical breathing is one way of filling up your lungs, and this has been very helpful in the present times where respiratory problems are becoming a concern. And if you do it every day for about 10 minutes, broken into 2 parts, if it is difficult for a single time, it would really help all of us. And it helps to reduce the anxiety, the stress, because it actually affects the parasympathetic. It helps us to activate the parasympathetic nervous system more, which is focusing on rest and digest. And it helps the hormones, the happy hormones, serotonin, oxytocin, to be secreted and reduce the stress hormone, cortisol, or the flow of adrenaline during anxiety times. So that is a big help to all of us, cyclical breathing. Okay, so coming to acceptance, where we have done a lot of sessions on acceptance earlier also. And we see that acceptance contributes greatly to our happiness. Acceptance not to the wrong things that are happening towards us, but acceptance towards what's happening towards us, for us. I mean, not wrong things around us, sorry. Say, for example, someone steals something and goes away. No one is asking you to accept it. Acceptance is whatever happens in our life, to accept it as it is, and then move forward, looking into responding to it as it comes, right? And there is a cycle of acceptance also. In terms of grief, in terms of pain, there is a cycle of acceptance which happens. And practicing acceptance, practicing mindfulness helps the cycle, the gap between the incident that is giving us grief or pain, and acceptance, the cycle to be shorter. That is all that happens. So if there is any thought around it, you can share. And I can tell you personally that acceptance has been a major savior in my life. And accepting life as it is has actually reduced, or I would say on the towards part, it has actually enhanced my happiness to a great extent, my learnings to a great extent, my respect for people to a great extent, because acceptance of thoughts. So there was a saying which I read and it really affected me, is that if thumb impressions can differ, why can't mental thoughts, right? And that gives us a new perspective for respect and acceptance. So is there any thought, you can share it. I do not have any agenda for sharing today, except for discussing within ourselves and maybe finding out a way for people. If you see in all these sessions that we have done, 2 programs had a very good viewing. One is resilience, one is acceptance. Acceptance, we have done around 7-8 programs on that. If you go through the YouTube, you will find it, and each is different. So I thought that whoever joins today, if they can share their thoughts on acceptance, that would be a good archive to keep. So over to you. Momita, Devashish, Manoj. Any thoughts around acceptance?
So, Partha, let us start with a word called tolerance.
Tolerance.
Yeah. Is tolerance acceptance? Being more tolerant towards anything. Right? Why I brought this word is because it never came in the past, right? In our acceptance discussion. So, can we discuss on this word called tolerance? What bearing does it have with acceptance? And are they the same? Like Mahatma Gandhi said that, if you slap on one of my cheeks, then I will put the other cheek forward. Is that tolerance? Is that acceptance? So I'm just mooting this for the beginning of the discussion.
Yeah, open to Manush and Momita.
I will share my thoughts after Momita.
Okay, if Momita shares. Momita, over to you.
Tolerance, I think uh, tolerance has got a limit, right? Like if uh, so in my locality, there is so much noises in each occasion. Or actually, I got furious when 8, 9 boys attacked black cats last week. So লাঠি ঢিল কন্টিনিউয়াসলি ঢিল ছুটছে কেন না ওই কালো বিড়াল নাকি অশুভ। তো আমি ভীষণ রেগে গেছিলাম, তো আমার মনে হয়নি সেখানে টলারেন্স দেখানোর আমার কোনো কারণ নেই। যদিও তখনকার মতো বিড়ালটাকে আমি বাঁচিয়ে দিয়েছিলাম, কিন্তু বিড়ালটা উধাও এখন। তো এরকম ক্ষেত্রে আমার টলারেন্স দেখাতে ইচ্ছে করে, দ্যাট ইজ আমার মনে হয় না এটাকে আমি অ্যাকসেপ্ট করিনি।
Hmm.
অন্তত আমার আমার নিজস্ব স্ফিয়ারে আমি তো এখন গিয়ে আবার ওই বিড়ালটার মতো ওই লোকগুলোকে হাপিস করে দিতে পারছি না।
So what you are saying is tolerance has a limit, and obviously, if there is something wrong happening around us,
If
we can
there's
probably
some
tolerate to
limit,
some extent. But yes,
yeah.
I mean, after that, post that, it is difficult to accept. So tolerance and acceptance. So the point which was raised by Devashish was: is tolerance and acceptance related? So that
I
was the
think
point.
it depends on case to case basis. So every time it is not the same.
Okay, so if we can just focus inside us on tolerance, if something happens to us, right? What is tolerance? What is acceptance? What is the relation between these two? If we can focus on that, that might be a good perspective also to discuss on what Debashish mooted or proposed to discuss.
I think acceptance is the first step to happiness. So like I don't have a house. Don't have my own house, rather. I stay at a rented place. So ছোটবেলা থেকে আমি আমার নিজের মানে পৈতৃক বাড়িতে থেকেছি।
Since it will be viewed by a lot of people, Momita, if you can speak in English or Hindi, it would be good.
So let others share.
Okay. Manush, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Vasudha. Yeah, I fully agree with Momita. Tolerance has a limit. So be it in a case which Momita described, a same thing happened with my daughter. She had a 100% black cat, right? A female cat, and neighbors killed it. The reason was same. Black cat is you know the reason, and I had to tolerate because I didn't know who killed those that particular black cat, and my daughter suffered emotionally a lot, right? Then if we come to human history, there are so many civil wars. Why all those civil wars happened? Because people couldn't tolerate the economic, social, and political conditions of a particular nation at a particular point of time. And all the civil wars has led to good things, be it French Revolution, be it American Civil War, be it Latin American Civil War. So I fully agree with Momita. There is a limit to tolerance.
Yeah, so thanks, Manas. I wanted to bring this only. So I'll just, in this argument, I will just ask you that is there a limit to acceptance then? I mean, can we accept anything and everything?
No, in my opinion,
Hmm.
it is the same. And I'm giving you some real life examples, right? Uh, I am associated with many things, many social things. So uh, a few months back, the Assistant Commissioner of Police of Newtown, she somehow came to know about me, and she requested me to prepare a PowerPoint
Take a
presentation
dog.
on addiction. So I asked her, so who are the target audience? And then she said that the +2 students and first year students. Okay. And I asked her, Madam, how do you want it to be? Because addiction is a huge subject matter. So she told me that it should touch the heart of the audience. And okay, so I prepared some 9 slides or something like that, and she was elated. She said that it was fantastic. Forget that. So I am a son of my parents, right? They couldn't accept at a point of time, they couldn't accept my addiction to smoking, right? And this generation who are addicted to alcohol, who are addicted to marijuana, who are addicted to drugs, Devashish, you please tell me, can it be accepted by the parents? It cannot be. Because if the parents accept the behavior of their children will die. So acceptance is also has a limit.
So I know, I know. So what you're saying, so just for elaborating the discussion, right? So probably I will go back to your word in terms of what is happening within you, right? Now the uh, question is that there are certain things which are in our control and
Yes,
certain things which are not in our control, right?
yes,
So if things are not in our control, then
yes.
we accept and move on. Is that the um, is that the philosophy that we want to discuss?
No. Then I would like to relate it to tolerance. If I can't accept, if we can't accept, then we don't tolerate. Then we go to civil war. And this is history.
Okay.
This
So
is history.
Okay.
thanks. I think that was really very interesting and good. And I was listening with keen attention. So so there are acceptance. Yes, I agree. Tolerance is definitely, there is a limit, has to be a limit of what is good, what is bad. We always have drawn boundaries of what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. And these boundaries are, of course, due to our experiences, due to the social norms, due to our own norms, due to personal norms, which actually we have created. And it's a fact that if we see something which is wrong according to us, now when someone is killing a black cat, it is definitely so heinous, so downgraded, right? And it must be punished. Those who are killing it has got some beliefs. So acceptance is related, tolerance, acceptance is related to beliefs and values of people. So if we can just think what creates, and if we talking of well-being of people, my point is, yes, while tolerance is definitely related, it has become very clear in Momita, Manoj, and Devashish's point of view that is very clear. My point is that does acceptance of, so if we shift our attention now to grief or happenings or what we think should happen does not happen, how does acceptance come into place? Can acceptance help us? Acceptance can help us in some areas, acceptance will not help us in some areas. Acceptance is everything. Acceptance, non-acceptance is also an option of acceptance, right? Like not doing something is option to anything. If I say, for example, my father asks me or someone asks me whether you want to study history or geography, and I said none of them, right? So my father is presupposing that the parent is presupposing that I will study history or geography, but my thought is that something else, right? That is also, so non-acceptance is also a part of acceptance. And I accept the fact that these people are doing wrong. My belief is that they're doing a heinous crime and I move towards it because I have got a limit towards tolerance of something. So I totally agree with what it is. And I will just read out that acceptance refers to the process of embracing thoughts, emotions, and other internal experiences without judgment and without trying to change them. So what it means is, say we accept, we just now, Manoj and me were speaking, and Manoj brought in a very relevant point that, there are certain cases that he analyzes a lot, and there are certain actions taken, not actions, certain reactions or response that he faces from his friends or from his family members, right? And he says, I cannot understand why that happens. In some cases, he understands why that happens and he accepts it. In some cases, he cannot accept. So I brought in another perspective that I read somewhere, and it has touched my heart. If thumbnails, some impressions are different, why can't mental thoughts be? Right? Heinous crimes should not be tolerated, should not be accepted. Civil wars have happened because of non-tolerance of atrocities that has happened. However, when Debashish brings in the example of Gandhiji saying that if you slap me on one part of the face, right part of the face, right cheek, I will put on my other part of the face to you. That might be his tolerance. And it is also contextual. Any behavior is contextual. So coming back, my point to you is, personally, how can acceptance help us? We agreed that there is a boundary of tolerance. Personally, how does it help us? Does acceptance help us in some way? Do you have any experience of where if you would not accepted certain things, life would not have been normal for you? And is there something that we can ponder on in that case? And once again, Devashish, thank you very much for bringing in the point of tolerance, right? Tolerance, say for example, a death cannot be tolerated, and death of a very near family member or friend might not be tolerated. Question is, how do we move from tolerance from there to acceptance? What is that we need to do? If there is a opinion which is not agreed upon by me, when my tolerance regarding that person or that perspective is not accepted, how do we move towards acceptance? So any thoughts around it? How it can help us? Manoj, Devashish, Momita.
Acceptance help us to move on in life, because as Devashish said, there are some exogenous factors which are beyond our control, and there are some endogenous factors which are in my control. So we have to make a balance between these two. and we have to accept things which is beyond my control, which I cannot change, but I definitely will try to control or change the things which I think, I believe I can, and make my life better.
Hmm. Okay. So I will give you an example. Cricket matches and football matches and a lot of games happen. And we have lots of experiences of many young people, not only young people, people sacrificing their lives if there, there is a loss. It happened in a lot of games we have seen. That's a example. Another example is when we are in a meeting and we do not agree to someone, and that person's opinion is not accepted by me, or not, if I may say, I will not get into tolerance, because tolerance, I think the word is a little, I mean, on the harder side. It is tolerable. Pain is tolerable. That's a boundary line. But yes, if I may use that, sometimes it goes beyond tolerance if someone goes on talking. How do we accept it? What do we do? What is the process of acceptance that we do? There is a model called Kubler-Ross model, but we can touch upon that later on sometimes. Is there any way that we can accept it? And what should be the philosophy behind what should be accepted and what not should be accepted? And how we can accept certain things to move on, as Manoj said. So thanks, Manoj, for bringing that in, because we discussed just before the meeting started, two of us were discussing, right, acceptance.
Actually, Parsada, just couple of days ago, I got a very interesting message. So it says, what is maturity? And the answer is, some people hurts you, and then instead of getting angry, instead of getting rude, instead of walking away, you just empathize with that person, ask the person if he or she is okay with her life, if he or she is having any issues with her life, because the person never misbehaves with you. That is the first time. So that is empathy, and that is that touched me extremely deeply.
Very nice, Manoj. It's a very important word, empathy. Empathy can really help us. In fact, to listen to any person, if we just think that this person is hurting me, he's told something which is not meant for me, and if I just don't react to it and understand from what point of view. So there is a beautiful saying that map is not the territory. What is my thought might not be the other person's thought. And if I have felt hurt, that do I have control on myself not to feel hurt? I mean, to accept that hurt, not to accept what he's saying, because we might not agree with him, but to accept that there might be some challenge from his perspective, and we can move on, and maybe we can discuss it later on instead of getting into an argument. That's a very good example, Manoj. That's a very good example.
Thank you.
In fact, grief, that also comes. Yes, Devashish, Momita, you have unmuted. You can carry on.
Yeah. In an office meeting, if somebody is saying something which I don't like, so firstly, I let that person speak. I don't interrupt. I think that is also acceptance. Let the other person put his or her perspective. Then I really listen to that, and I try to understand his or her points. Post that, if I feel that no, or from my perspective it is wrong, then I put my point without shouting. I put my point rationally. post that, I have seen maybe that person have accepted my point or not, but there was no fight. There was no fight. I think that is rational, and that is also acceptance. And finally, every office matter is not under my control. That I understand, and that is why I don't keep on reiterate my point only, because I know I have accepted this point that every official decision can't be in my favor or be taken as per my thoughts. So this is acceptance for me in official meetings.
Or it is similar to personal life also, the same thing can happen.
Yeah,
I
it
think,
is.
yeah. So, and good.
It
I
is
think that's a good example.
like Devashishta and me previous sessions we have discussed about our I have discussed about my son's problem. He doesn't listen to my words. Actually, there is no room for discussion. I have shared, Devashishta has shared, but I nowadays, as because I have accepted because that his language is different from my language pattern. How he communicates is different from my communication style. So I have accepted that. And post that, whenever if you spot it, you got it. So I have spotted it, I have accepted it. Now we can talk. Now we are spending more time, me and my son, talking to each other and listening to each other's points. So that is a win, and that is a win-win situation for me, actually.
So what is the process if we just go back to Momita's word and see what is the process that happened over here? So first, Momita had anger, denial, and she did not accept. However, she got into the fact that, okay, his language is different, his communication style is different, his experience is different, my experience is different. And she spotted it. She said a very, very nice word. If you spot it, if you have spotted, you have got it. So once she understood that, so understanding, I think, gives you the scope for bargaining with yourself and with others. Bargaining in the sense that responding the way the other person wants and you want, coming into the reconciliation, and then finding out ways, and you start discussing, right? And once you start discussing, there are ways that can come out when. So there's a subject called transaction analysis. We say there are three ego states: adult, child, and parent. So here, the earlier discussion, if you see, was between an adult and a parent and a child. However, when Momita understood, and her son also understood that, okay, there can be a dialogue between us where we can understand each other. It is an adult to adult interaction, wherein it becomes a win-win situation. I think I just thought that I will break this. So denial, and then understanding what the other's point of view, the other understands what the other points of view. So a lot of respect, right? After respect, you study, break it into pieces. So she said, language is different, experience is different, communication is different. When there is a big elephant, right? If you break it into parts, you will understand that a little bit better. Again, if you don't see the elephant and see the parts only, it will be different. So she did it. And after she came into that understanding of win-win situation, now they discuss and they spend a lot of time together, and it's a win-win. So very nice. I think that's how it looks like. And that is where acceptance comes in. Sorry, Devashish, we are very sorry. We have been stopping you. Sorry, please.
No. Absolute very valid discussions. So, so yesterday I went to a sari shop with some of my relatives, beer bazaar type. Okay. And it occurred to me that while sitting there, one of my relative, she exclaimed that looking at the other person, how can she even like that color and that sari? Okay. And that happens, right? I mean, when my choice, I think of color or anything in this world, I think that, that is probably the best color. Pink is, should be the best color in this world. There'll be another person who will say, okay, blue is the better one. That shade of blue is better one. So then I realized, then I told them there and then, I told them that, everybody has his own, liking, which the Uparwala has created. So, so don't get into that discussion. And let me tell you, if there are this many colors of saris over there, the shopkeeper is not a fool to display and sell them off, right? Because he has customers for everything. So that brings the perspective that I am not unique, or am I unique? Okay. So the question is, the bandwidth of available options in this world are too many, right? And you cannot fit into everything, right? So from the Vedantic perspective, it is like, you understand yourself, right? You get deeper into yourself. Who am I? Finally, you realize I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the soul within. And I felt that whenever I come into a dispute, and I think like this, no, everything dissipates and I accept and move on. Because I know that things are not in my control, right? And you may disagree that that person is not doing the right thing, it is affecting me. Okay, for moving on, you may just about walk out of the situation. But getting into a conflict is not the happiness. And one of the biggest thing is on ego is the worst enemy of acceptance, right? And where does ego come from? I, self. So the more I realize that I, self, I am not the body, I am not the mind, it dissipates the energy and helps in a better life. But there's a big thing here, the element of change.
Vashish, you got frozen.
The other philosophies, I will not change probably. There is an element of change, as is to be, always in your life, so that we move into a higher and higher levels of realization, right? Unless we go there, we are what we are, with all the errors and factors that I thought is the best thing in life, right? We have not changed. And that is why all this conflict in the relationship everywhere, that you are not changing. You are what you are. Okay, your anger is where you are. Your ego, you think you are the greatest person in this world. Okay, you think in the office, you can dictate your terms. You are a coercive person. You are an authoritative person. So there is an element of change we have to realize, which we should. There has to be auto correction made as we go along. And unless I accept others' perspective, I will not know the change factors. Yeah, Partner. Thank you.
Very good perspective. So another word which came out is accepting others as it is, right? Changing ourselves. So changing is is actually reframing our thoughts, accepting others, accepting ourselves as we are, because there's conflict within ourselves also. Sometimes we say that I am not good enough. I am social comparison. When you compare oneself with other, a lot of conflicts arise, and acceptance that you are as you are now and you can improve and develop also is a kind of change or a reframing of thoughts which can work on. One very interesting thing that I would just observe from what Manoj, Devashish and Momita shared, right, is that we are flexible as human beings. We are flexible. And there is a very important topic which we can discuss some other day is neuroplasticity, a great power of human beings, right? so that our brain, the structure of the brain, the formation of the neurons in the brain, the way they fire can be changed. And that's a big thing because we are flexible. We are flexible animals, right? If something does not happen, it's okay. I used to feel very bad, sometimes when, so the morning sessions, most of the times me, Devashish and Kakuli madam is there, and we three are there. Sometimes Devashish is not there, sometimes Kakuli madam, sometimes I cannot do the sessions. And when I said, it's okay, when I reframed my thoughts, it's okay. If three of us can change, and if it's good for us, and if this is seen by some other two, three people and they change, I think that's a big transformation that's happening, right? So I accepted and my stress reduced a lot. Today also when I was speaking to Manoj and me, both were very calm. We were discussing very reasonable topics, which actually contributed to both of us, to me especially, right? And I thought, oh, wow, if someone has not come, it's okay, good. We are having some time to talk. And then we decided, let's now practice gratitude, right? So reframing, acceptance, I think that's a big part to play. And empathy, so tolerance, empathy, win-win situation. So acceptance brings in a win-win situation. So spot it, you have got it. If you have spotted, you have got it. And we also discussed about ego, I. A very fascinating thing is the pronouns that we use. In fact, maybe on 16th or maybe on 23rd, one of the Sundays, Devashish is, of course, will be discussing the Vedantic part of it. Yes, I will. Devashish has already, he's an expert on that and he has been given us examples. I, me and self are three different parts of ourselves, right? We can discuss, and pronouns play a very important role. Ego, so that also came in today. Thank you so much. Yes, Moumita.
Yeah, actually, the example that Devashish has shared, I have got that problem, right? Like, say, I'm very conscious about my attire, even my lipstick color. So whenever I say I'm walking on the roads of Park Street, I generally look at each and every person, what he or she is wearing, and वो feeling मुझे भी होता है, मतलब that feeling comes to me also, that oh my God, how can he has chosen this shirt or this dress. Then gradually I have solved this problem. Till now, maybe 5-10% is there. Immediately I tell myself that firstly, this is his or her choice, so I'm no one to judge that. Secondly, maybe he's thinking the same thing about me. Okay, oh my God, what sari this lady has on. So it can be vice versa also. So if he is judging me, then will I like it? No, I will say, this is my choice, my life. So I have liked this sari, that is why I have bought it. So the same thing applies for that person also. So who am I to judge? So I immediately start telling all this to me, and that has solved my problem. And the second thing, yesterday, my friend, one of my friends and her son came to my place. So and her son is the same age, Bihan, he's of Bihan's age, my son's age. So after they went back to their place, they left for their place, my son told me, okay, Maman, how come a guy live like that? Because he always thinks about his studies. He doesn't have anything in his life. He doesn't do anything except study. So, kichu nahi jibone, nothing is there in his life, no socialization, nothing. So I told him, I told my son, I make him understand this is his way of leading his life. It is his choice. Maybe he's thinking that how can you be so casual about your studies? Maybe he's thinking also. Do you have any answer? You have an answer like I like to do all these things. Maybe it is very weird to him. And everybody behaves according to their process of socialization. How, what he has got in his life, do you know? In which circumstances he was brought up, do you know? No. So you don't have any right to judge any other person. If his or her ways are different from you, it will be different always. You can't get people similarly behaving like you. Then he understood and he took my point. So it happens every time.
Yeah, one important aspect which has been brought up again in this discussion is awareness. Awareness, the moment something, if I do not react, I respond to it, I just pause, acceptance. It's okay, not be judgmental at that point. It's okay, he lives his life, I live my life, right? And it's okay for the difference to be there, because differences only, conflicts only bring up opportunities, bring up possibilities, right? And acceptance within conflicts, agreeing to disagree, that is what brings in possibilities, brings in opportunities, has created this life differently. Otherwise, today, we would not have, it would not have been possible for us to speak on Zoom, meet together, four of us, have a chit chat along with a cup of tea. Great. Yes, Manoj, you wanted to
Yeah,
say something.
yes. Actually, I will start from what Momita shared at office, what happens at office, and Devashish about the bazaar thing. Um, you all know about emotional quotient. Emotional quotient, right? Emotional quotient. There are six categories. Emotional EQ1 to EQ6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this emotional quotient was developed by psychologists and psychiatrists to find out who is going to take a treatment and who is not going to take a treatment. Then it has spreaded out to management. It has spreaded out to society in other social things and all those. Now I will just very narrowly describe the characteristics of 3, 1, 3, and 6. Emotional quotient 1. They always think that they are unique, they are the best, they cannot make many mistake, there's no mistake in their life, and they don't need any help. Then people with emotional quotient 3, they say, yes, there are problems, but it's not for me, it's for X, Y, or Z. Then the top ranking is emotional quotient 6. They say, yes, there is a problem. I need help to correct, to rectify my problems. So they are the best patients for psychiatric treatment. I did psychoanalysis a few years ago, and I came out to be EQ6. So the problems at office meetings, there are people with EQ1, there are people with EQ3, there are people who think that if I accept Momita's proposals, then I will lower my position. Oh, Momita knows better than me. So how can I accept that? I must not accept that. That is corporate politics, right? So many things are there. And on a lighter note, today we didn't see Momita. She's like Meghnad.
You have to accept that and not be judgmental.
I'm not judgmenting.
That was a good one, Manoj. So great. I think we all enjoyed the discussion. Next Sunday, Shekhar, our dear friend Shekhar, he will be taking us through the process of Shuddhikaran, right? And he would lead us next Sunday. And in between, we will have the morning sessions. And thank you for all being there, Devashish, Manoj, and Momita, and those who are watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If there are any thoughts, share it in the group, or if you're not in the group, share it in the YouTube comments. We will learn from it. It's okay if you don't. It's okay if you do. We'll accept it. Thank you. Om Shanti, and let today be the happiest day. Yes,
Om
Manoj.
Shanti. Thank
Yes,
you.
Yes, Manoj. Yes, Manoj. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, actually, last Sunday, you gave a proposal that if we read some good books, we can discuss it here. And by the way, I already have purchased Brian Little's Little is Enough, and I'm studying it. It's really mesmerizing. Though I
Who are
have
you really? Who are you really?
oh my goodness, I bought the wrong book.
No, it's okay.
Still it is
It's okay.
excellent.
Brian Little is a very famous and he does a lot of
Yeah,
work
yeah,
on that. Absolutely.
I bought his A Little is Enough.
Yeah,
And,
It's a good book
that
too.
book.
And
Yeah,
we can share your thoughts on that. Maybe
No,
on
actually, I wanted to share Marcus Aurelius is the Roman emperor, who actually is a forefather of Western Stoicism.
Mhm.
So I would like to discuss on it, but
Sure.
but not before couple of months.
Sure. Do that. We
Okay.
can definitely share that. That would be really good. Thank you, Manoj.
Thank you, Parthada. Thank you, Devashisda. Thank you, Momita.
Bye.